let's say I start a new HTML file. Is it not letting me create a new folder? Oh, I know why. We'll create a new HTML file. We call it javascript lesson 1. And I'm going to just open it in Chrome as well so I can see what I'm working on. Alright, so here we are. So let's say I create an input here. ID is equal to input and number. Now I can create JavaScript like this. There's a script tag that I can put it into. If I want, I can, if I keep it on one line, if I want, I can just give it a source equals to a JavaScript file. Or if I want, I can just put the JavaScript between the tags. So I'm just going to put it between the tags for now. So let's say can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Quiet for a little while. I was like, everything okay?
No problem.
So I have a text box and a button, and here are my text box and my button. Every time I put a number into this text box, I want that number's square to be given to me, right? So how do I do this? So first thing I need to do is in JavaScript, I'm going to start off by saying you can create variables to store data, right? So I can create a variable var x is equal to 0. And then I can say document dot write. Document is your page. Dot write x. The value of x is, and then I can say x, and it'll print the value of x. See? If I change this value to 10, it'll print 10. So now I have a variable whose value can be output on the screen, and I can change its value at any time. So how do I get the value of what's inside of this text box? JavaScript has a function called document, which is your page, dot get element by ID. And you give it the element's ID, which is, in our case, number. Right? Now, let's see what happens. So now it's telling me that the value of x is a HTML input element object. If I put a dot val here, value I think it is, it'll give me blank. So if I put 5 here, 55 here, the value is 55. If I leave this blank, the value is blank. So now I've attached this variable to my input. So every time I change my input, I can find a way to inform this variable that something has changed, right? So variable holds a value, and document.write prints it out. Document.getElementById gets an element from your document, which is your HTML page. So now what I can do is, next thing I'm going to teach you is functions. So a function is something that can be called and it has a specific purpose. So I'm going to create a function that square function, okay? And what my function does is it grabs the current value at the time the button was clicked. I want to grab the value that's inside this text box, and I want to print it out. Right? So now I have a function, but nothing's appearing because I'm not calling this function from anywhere. I can call this function from anywhere. So if I call square, it's going to call this function. But what I really want to do is call this function when this button is clicked. So what I do is I do onClick equals square. Now every time this button is clicked, it'll call this function. So let's say I type refresh this page, I type 5 here. The value of x is 5. And I retype 56. The value of x is 56. Is this making sense to you so far?
Yeah, it's making some sense.
Okay. And in order to make a square root, all I'm going to do is x is equal to x times x, right?
Yeah.
So if you give me 2 here, the square of 2 is, oh, I didn't refresh. If you give me 2 here, the square of 2 is 4. If you give me 4 here, the square of 4 is 16. If you give me 16 here, the square of 16 is 256. I have a better way to display this. What I can do is the value of the square of plus x plus is x times x. So if I put 6 here, I'm going to say, oh, 6 here is going to say the square of 6 is 36, which is correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's say I have another item here. Div id is div id is equal to let's say output, right? Instead of doing a document.write, I'm going to do output equals document.get element by id output. Output dot now it's displaying underneath. So basically, the first thing to know about JavaScript is there are variables. So I can have variable x equals ABC. I can have variable y is equal to 23. So you can have variables and you can assign them values. A value of the variable can be anything from text, numbers, objects, which I will go into later, and anything, any type of data can be stored in those variables. You can write anything to the screen by document.write. Document is your page. You just have to remember that. So when you do document.write, write is a function of the document. So you can do document.write and it'll write to the document, which is your page. You can do document.get element by ID because you have given this element an ID. You can get a copy of that element and then you can see its value by putting a dot value at the end. So this makes it a lot more interactive and gives me a lot more flexibility with what I can do on my page. The syntax of writing JavaScript is you write the JavaScript and then you put a semicolon at the end. There has to be a semicolon. Inner HTML is a function of an element. An element is any HTML tag. So they're also called elements. And inner HTML is a value or that you can assign or look at. You can say, variable x is equal to output.innerHTML, and it'll give you what the actual HTML inside of an element. And you can change that HTML by putting an equal sign and putting something here, and it'll change that HTML. So this is just the starting point. A statement, this is a statement. So variable x comma y comma z. So you're saying, you're declaring your variables, that there is a variable whose name is x, another one whose name is y, another one whose name is z. So you're creating three variables, you're not giving them any values yet. On this line, you're giving a value to x, on this line, you're giving a value to y, and then on this line, you're giving a value to z. On the value to z, you're just giving it x plus y, which is defined here, so z is always going to be 11. White space is not an issue. You can have as many white spaces as you want. You can what else is here? Break, continue. I will get into those later. The syntax, you already understand the syntax. You can add comments in JavaScript. So you can say x is equal to ABC, right? X is equal to ABC. This is a comment. This is something that helps me understand what is going on this line of code. I can create a comment by saying // or /*. /* is a multi-line comment, and I can end it by putting a */. So anything between */ and /* and */ is a comment. So I can put, this is a comment. This is also a comment. So if I didn't want this line to execute, I can comment it out, so it becomes a comment and it doesn't get executed. So I'm going to comment these out so they don't get executed. Now my only JavaScript thing that's executing is this function square. Because comments are not code, they're just helpful. They can be used to comment out, to make the code not executable. You understand variables, operators. So you already understand the basic operators. Plus is plus, so you know that plus is plus, minus is minus, star is multiplication, and slash is division. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense? So I can do x is equal to 5, y is equal to since I'm creating my own variables, I can name them anything I want. I choose to name them X and Y, but I can call Usman is equal to 5, Naveed is equal to 10, Nick is equal to Usman times Naveed, right? Maz is equal to Naveed divided by Usman. So far, make sense?
Yeah, it's making sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's say I have Usman who's equal to 5, right? And I want to add to his value. I want to add Naveed to his value. So I can say Usman is equal to Usman plus Naveed, right? This is equal to 15, correct?
Yeah.
The better and faster way to do it is to say Usman plus equals Naveed. And it'll give me the same output. Plus equal means Usman equals Usman plus. Plus equal just makes it shorter and easier to understand. So you have plus, you have minus, you have star, you have star star, which is exponential, division, modulus, increment, and decrement. So increment and decrement, I can explain it to you now. So if I say Nick plus plus, this means Nick plus 1 plus equals 1. Nick minus minus, Nick minus equals 1. So you're subtracting, you're adding 1 to Nick, and then you're removing 1 from Nick. If your variable is a string, so variable str equals hello, variable str2 is equal to world, variable str3 str1, str is equal to str1 plus some white space or a blank space plus world, which is str2. And str becomes hello space world. str1 plus, let's say, Naveed. This will become hello 10. this will equal 510. Any questions so far?
Not so far now. It's actually pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
All right. The last thing that I'm going to teach you is if statements. So if sman is equal to 5, document.write sman is equal to 5. So double equal is used for comparison. If I want to check if a value is equal to another value, I use double equals. If statements are statements, logical statements that you use to see if something is true. So I want to check if something is true. And what do I want to check? I want to check if Usman is equal to 5. And what do I want to do if it is? If it is, then I want to write on my page that Usman is equal to 5. So let's run this. Seems like Usman is not equal to 5 because it didn't print anything. So what is Usman equal to?
15. It's 15, I guess.
15. What is Usman equal to? He's 15 here. And then what did we do here?
It's added, so it's 25 now.
25. So now this value of Usman is 25. So let's see if it works. Let's put 25 here. Oh, I forgot to put 25 here. There it is. Usman is equal to 25. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, perfect. So in the if statement, you can say double equal for equal. If you want to say Usman is greater than 25, which is not going to work because he is not greater than 25. You can say he is less than 25, which is also not going to work because he's not less than 25. You can say less than or equal to 25, which will work because he is equal to 25. You can also say greater than or equal to 25, and that'll also work. And then you can say not equal to, exclamation point, and then equal means not equal. And that means it should not work. And it doesn't. So those are your basic operators for comparison. Double equals, triple equal I'll go into later, not equal to, not equal equals to, not equal and not equals. Double equal are similar, I will go into. Triple equals, greater than 25, less than 25. greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Don't worry about this one. I will get into this later. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
All right. So now let me explain you the difference between double equal and triple equals. So Usman is double equal to 25, right? What type of variable is Usman?
Integer.
Usman is an integer. What type of variable is this? This is also an integer. So he's double equal to 25. He is also double equal to the string 25. It's called a string. So any text that you put in quotes is called a string. But a string of 25 is double equal to an integer 25. But a string of 25 is not triple equal to a string of 25, to an integer 25. So Usman's value is not triple equal to string 25, but his value is double equal to, because the triple equal checks to make sure you're not only equal, you also have the same data type. So right now my data type is a string, not an integer. Because I'm inside quotes, I could have ABC inside quotes, but I can't have ABC like this outside of quotes, because this is a string, so the types are not the same. Usman is of a different type, this 25 is of a different type, so they're not triple equal. They're double equal. But if I do triple equal to 25 like this, that's going to work, because he is triple equal to 25, integer 25. And then the not equal and not double equal is exactly the same thing, but not equals. Make sense? Nick, are you good?
Yep. Yeah, so I was trying to unmute my mic, sorry. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. So let's say I'm just keeping double equals. What is the value of Naveed?
And
10. So I can say if Usman is equal to 25 and Naveed is equal to 10, then I want this to be displayed.
so you always have to use the double and?
Double and is always used.
Okay.
Double and means that in order for this entire if statement to be true, the statement to the left of double and as well as statement to the right of double and, they both have to be true.
Okay.
Because true and true is equal to true.
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
So that's what brings us here. And, or, and not. So true or true is also equal to true. Right?
Yeah.
So this will also work. So let's say I change Naveed's value to see if it's 15. The or statement will still work, because in order for the or statement to be either the statement to the left or the statement to the right have to be true. One of the two have to be true. But in order for and statement to be true, both of them have to be true. So this one is not going to be, this is going to turn out to be false. Right? Nick, make sense?
Yeah.
So The and sign checks for and the double pipes check for
or. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So what can I do? So here is one more thing. There's something called else. So if this is true, then do what's inside these parentheses. Else, do what's inside these parentheses. And document.write false. So it's going to write true or false based on if our statement is true. Or this or this is true, it's going to write true. But and this is false. So if we write just true here, it will print true. But what if we put exclamation point true? Exclamation means not true. So it's going to be false. It's going to be out. Make sense so far?
Yeah.
So you understand now the and operator, the or operator, and the exclamation point. These are advanced topics. You don't need to go into these. One last thing I'll teach you before we hang up is alert. So instead of saying document.write, I can say alert. Okay? And what does alert do? Alert will not put it on my page. It will display an alert here. False. Alert is a function of JavaScript which displays a message, displays an alert message. Does this make sense so far?
Yeah. Can you make like an alert as like a login, or I was trying to wonder like what other kind of functions you could use for alert? It's just like a message.
For displaying data.
Okay, just for displaying.
Yeah, it only displays. And some alerts, they're not really alerts. They're confirmation box.
Oh, okay.
They have OK and cancel on.
Okay.
Alert usually just has a message and then one or two buttons, depending on whether it's an alert box or a confirm box.
Okay.
What you're thinking about is something different. We'll get into that later on.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm just trying to think like how I can apply like all these to different things. So like the concepts make sense, but I'm just trying to like articulate like how I could use them for other purposes, if that makes sense.
So I will tell you how you're going to use them for other purposes.
Okay.
So that's going to be your homework.
Okay, right on.
Is going to be creating a calculator using Bootstrap and JavaScript. And the calculator, you can design it to be as beautiful as you want, but just use some Bootstrap so you keep using Bootstrap and you don't lose familiarity with it. So create a Bootstrap-based calculator which is built in JavaScript, and it uses JavaScript to do calculations.
Okay, sounds good.
Doable?
I think so.
It's going to be a little complicated, but let's see if you can do this.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. This definitely will be fun. I'm excited.
Awesome. So go for it. If you have any questions, the same exact homework was done by these guys earlier. So when they were learning JavaScript, so just ask questions in the programming group, and
Okay.
we'll try to help you out as much as you can.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Oh, actually, real quick, did you want the output or like the answer of the calculator to be in like an alert, or just displayed like how it would look on like a screen or something, as if it were
Right.
calculated?
So make it look like a real calculator.
Okay. Okay, I thought so. I just want to make sure.
How about I share my screen? You can look at mine. I have an example pulled up right now.
Okay. Oh, let me. Oh, what up, Usman? How you doing?
Hold on, stay on my screen.
Oh. Okay. Wait, where's?
I'm displaying your screen on mine, so go for it.
Okay. Whoa, it's like. Okay, here we go.
There you go. So this is what Usman built when he was working on his calculator.
Oh, okay.
So
like you do 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Then when you put C, this clears.
Nice.
It is a little complicated, but of course, if you need help, you can call me, Naveed. You have our number, man. Like, if you have any problems, just call us.
Sounds good, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I have a couple ideas, but I'll probably need something.
Yeah, this is a little more advanced because he's doing multiple operations but your calculator for a start can be like a single operation calculator. So it only does at one time. It only does either a plus or a minus or a multiplication or a division.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a little more advanced, but the concept is